Hey, what's going on, my friends? My name's Anthony, and this is the new Panasonic S9, and today we're going to unbox it. I'm going to tell you a few things that you need to know. I was also able to take some sample images with this camera. They lent it to me over the weekend. I'm not going to call this like a full review, but I'll give you some final thoughts that I kind of was thinking about while using it and who Panasonic is saying that this camera is for. So let's dive in. So in the box, you get yourself the Panasonic camera strap, which is good to get you started, but not the greatest strap out there. It does feel like real leather with the Lumix embroidery. You also get the camera battery, and here's what you came for, the camera itself. The camera does come in a few different colorways. We of course got the black one, but there is a blue and orange also available. And in the US, they got the green one, which is a huge miss for us camo loving Canadians. Can we tell Panasonic that we want the green one? All right, we're working on it. First things first, this is part of the S line of Panasonic cameras, so you do get the full frame 24 megapixel sensor in a very small kind of form factor. This camera does not have a viewfinder, but if it did, I would probably compare this to like a Sony A7C or maybe the Fujifilm X Pro cameras, just in terms of like the looks. Panasonic here, there is no viewfinder. This feels a bit smaller than the Sony, but thicker than the X Pro cameras. So that's going to give you something to reference to when looking at this online. The flip screen on this camera is the same as the Panasonic S5 Mark II, but the button layout is very different. We'll talk more about this button right here in a second. Flip the camera over, sliding the battery in, you're gonna find the SD card slot right next to that. There is a UHS 2 card slot, and on the other side of the body, there's a USB-C charging port and a single microphone plug as well. The hot shoe is not really a hot shoe at all, actually. It's a cold shoe, which kind of makes sense for this type of camera and who it's intended for. So it's not a hot shoe, it's just for holding microphones like the Rode VideoMic Pro or anything like that. Any external microphone that you want to slap on the top here, you're good to go there, but there is no electronic hot shoe on here. So the sensor is pretty much the same as the S5 Mark II. So we have a backside illuminated CMOS sensor within this Panasonic, and it's got the great face and eye detection as well, like I'm using right now. The camera does have IBIS, and that's good because I would kind of understand the internet's rage if they didn't include that in this camera. But this is a full frame mirrorless camera, still with unbelievable IBIS. So what the heck did Panasonic remove to make such a small compact camera? Well, the fan takes up quite a bit of room on the S5 Mark II. That is no longer here. So can you still record long takes on this camera without it overheating? The answer is yes, but no at the same time. In 6K open gate mode, I shot 24 frames per second and the camera cut out after 10 minutes. This is a hard stop at 10 minutes, so it's not like the camera is unusable for any longer. It just stops the recording and then makes you hit the record button again. Right away, I switched over to Cinema 4K, hit the record button, and it gives you 15 minutes of constant recording in that mode. It was noticeably warm when I picked up the camera, but it was still usable if I wanted to carry on. For the people that this camera was intended for, this is probably acceptable. 15 minutes is like an alright amount of time. This camera isn't going to be like your talking head camera that you slap on a tripod and use to record all your YouTube videos with. But it's still kind of annoying because Panasonic was one of the first camera brands to get rid of those record limits in mirrorless cameras. This kind of feels like a step back, but is likely necessary due to the removal of this fan, and this is really geared to just like everyday, like capturing little moments. This is the type of camera that you would want to use. The other function that was maybe removed to make this camera so small is the mechanical shutter. This is a fully electronic shutter camera, which means that this isn't going to be like used for shooting like sports and wildlife or anything like that. Family photos and like while you're out for dinner, you got like a cool little meal going on, you want to get the camera out, take a couple of photos and slap it right on Instagram. This is the camera for that. The big feature that separates this camera from everything else Lumix has to offer is the LUT button that I pointed out a moment ago. Panasonic is now letting you create picture profiles and load them onto your camera via an app, and then choose the LUT that you actually want to apply to your photos and videos. This was always the thing you would do when in some kind of like editing software, but now we can actually do this right in camera. Shoot a bunch of photos, shoot a bunch of videos, send them over to your phone, and then just post them right away on your social media. That is very cool. Kind of a side story here, I once shot a whole wedding using Fujifilm film simulations, and that took 20 minutes to edit total. And most of the time was just culling down the images because they already looked really good in camera. So you could potentially do that with the Panasonic as well. A little unfortunate that this camera only has an electronic shutter, but we have to remember that this isn't the camera that a pro wedding photographer would use. But I guarantee you somebody's gonna try and do that. But it's so sick to know that if you don't want to spend all this time editing, you don't have to do so with the S9. Panasonic is saying that this is more of like a hobbyist type of shooter, somebody looking to transition away from their smartphone and just jump right into that large full frame sensor. APS-C is a noticeable jump in image quality over your smartphone already, but when it comes to sensor sizes, of course, the bigger the better, especially when you have these like small little Panasonic primes to kind of go with this camera. This could be a really lightweight package. Low light on the S5 Mark II is excellent. You can expect the same kind of performance here. You still have that dual base ISO for video, and you could also shoot 6K open gate. What's really cool is they added 4K open gate, and I personally love that simply because the file sizes will just be a little bit smaller, and you can still get that tall aspect ratio, so you can crop like 16:9 for YouTube, but also 9:16 for Instagram Reels. I use this feature all the time for work, and it's very, very handy, but for the every man or woman, sometimes 6K can be a bit overkill. It's just over a gig a minute when shooting 6K open gate at the highest video codec quality, so that gives you kind of an idea of how much data comes out of the video files on the S9. And they do give you 3 different ways to compress the video to save space depending on what you might actually want to do with your videos later. The MP4 Lite is new to Panasonic, so again, multiple ways to compress the video and save space on those memory cards if you want to. So when I shoot with my Fujifilm X Pro camera, I love to shoot with like a thumb grip, but on the S9, they actually included this little like bump right here, and I really enjoy this because your thumb kind of rests there very easily. I have big hands, yet despite this camera being very small, it feels solid in the hands. Still, some people are gonna wanna pick up that small rig grip extension for this camera because it gives you something a little bit extra to kind of hang on to on the front. So that's something to think about. But a lot of people really love to try and use affordable cameras in pro settings. And I think the internet is raging over the lack of viewfinder. But if that bothers you, this camera isn't for you. Panasonic has other great cameras to choose from, like the S5 Mark II, and that's why I keep mentioning it here. This camera is still a very reasonable size, but the S9 is so much smaller. You gotta cut out some features to make this body small and compact and essentially pocketable. This camera is for somebody looking to get a great mirrorless camera that is small and compact but gives you stellar image quality. And I've been loving shooting images on the S5 Mark II, and if you're essentially going to get very similar results on this camera as well if you aren't shooting those faster moving subjects. Yes, of course, a viewfinder would have been nice. It would have been great to have this on the S9, but if you're going to use the LCD all the time, you're just going to want to make sure you're conserving the battery life by turning the camera off in between, kind of as you're roaming different areas of the city or whatever it may be. If you're going on vacation, you might want an extra battery, but this is not the camera to get for like the pro photographer work. That's what the internet is kind of getting wrong about this camera. The S5 Mark II is more geared towards the pro photographer, videographer, whereas the S9 is more for somebody wanting to take a big step up over their smartphone and wants to jump right into that full frame mirrorless camera. Brands, they will often put this in the hands of pro photographers, and they might post videos talking about like how this isn't good, or like it's lacking this. In this situation, it's lacking a viewfinder and everybody's upset. when it's really not for those types of people at all. And I'm guilty of talking like this sometimes too. The S5 Mark II is nicer if you're shooting for like longer days, but if you're not a working pro or like a high-end enthusiast, but you want the same kind of image quality as a pro camera like the S5 Mark II, then this is it. Super small, still full frame, and if you pair it with the new 26mm pancake lens, then this is definitely a pocketable camera, totally able to throw that in a purse or a crossbody bag or anything like that. But listen, this camera isn't for everybody, but it might be for you. So I've been shooting with the S5 Mark II since it came out. I love the image quality that you get from that camera. This is just a smaller version for somebody looking to step it up. They want something sweet in a little small compact camera, and that's what this is. So if you want to take a closer look, stop by a Henry's camera store near you, check out the S9 by Panasonic, and like I said, just a quick video unboxing the camera, playing around with it a little bit for photography, but I really like this LUT feature and I want to spend a little bit more time playing with this, and so we might come up with a new video just discussing just the LUTs and kind of seeing how much we can kind of customize the look in camera. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. My name's Anthony, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.